Michael had grown up in a small town where everyone knew each other. He had never really interacted with people who were different from him. He had never met a Muslim before, and all he knew about Islam came from the news and the media. He had grown up with certain assumptions and biases about Muslims, and he didn't think twice about them until he met Ahmad. It was a typical Monday morning, and Michael was heading to his college class. He was dreading the group project that they had been assigned, and he was hoping that he wouldn't get stuck with someone he didn't like. As he walked into the classroom, his eyes scanned the room, searching for someone he could work with. That's when he saw him. Ahmad was sitting at a desk in the back of the room, quietly reading a book. Michael had never seen him before, but there was something about him that caught his attention. He was wearing a traditional Muslim prayer cap, and his beard was neatly trimmed. Michael couldn't help but stare. As the professor began assigning groups for the project, Michael held his breath. He hoped that he wouldn't be paired with someone he didn't like. But when the professor called out Ahmad's name and paired him with Michael, Michael couldn't help but feel a bit uneasy. As they worked on the project, Michael couldn't help but feel a bit awkward. He had heard so many negative things about Muslims, and he wasn't sure if he wanted to get to know Ahmad. But Ahmad was persistent, and he struck up a conversation with Michael. "Hey Michael, how's it going?" Ahmad asked with a smile. Michael hesitated for a moment before replying. It's going okay. How about you?" "I'm doing well, thank you." "So, what do you think of the project so far?" Ahmad asked. Michael shrugged. "It's all right, I guess. I'm just not really sure what we're supposed to be doing." Ahmad nodded understandingly. "Yeah, I know it can be confusing, but I have some ideas, if you're interested in hearing them." Michael hesitated for a moment before nodding. "Yeah, sure. I'm open to ideas." As Ahmad began to share his ideas for the project, Michael couldn't help but be impressed. Ahmad was smart and creative, and he seemed to have a lot of knowledge about the topic they were working on. As they worked together more, Michael found himself starting to open up to Ahmad. "So Ahmad, where are you from?" Michael asked. "I'm originally from Syria," Ahmad replied. "My family and I came to the United States a few years ago to escape the violence and conflict in our country." Michael's eyes widened. "Wow, that must have been really difficult." Ahmad nodded. "Yes, it was. But we're grateful to be here now, and we're working hard to make a new life for ourselves." As the weeks went on, Michael and Ahmad continued to work together on the project. They started to have more conversations about their backgrounds, their families, and their interests. Michael found himself asking Ahmad more and more questions about Islam, and Ahmad was happy to share his knowledge. "So, what's it like being a Muslim?" Michael asked one day. Ahmad smiled. "It's really hard to sum up in just a few words, but I would say that it's about finding peace and connection with God." Michael looked thoughtful. "That sounds nice, but I've heard some really negative things about Islam in the news. How do you deal with that?" Ahmad shrugged. "I just try to focus on the positive aspects of my faith, and I try to be a good person." Over time, Michael and Ahmad became good friends, and they started hanging out outside of class as well. Michael would invite Ahmad to his dorm room to watch football games, and Ahmad would often bring traditional Syrian dishes to share with Michael. One day, as they were walking across campus, Michael saw a group of students protesting against Muslims and carrying signs with offensive slogans. He felt a twinge of anger and disgust, but he also felt a sense of responsibility to stand up for his friend and for what was right. "Hey, Ahmad," he said, gesturing towards the protesters. "Have you seen that?" Ahmad looked over and sighed. "Yes, I have. It's disheartening, but unfortunately it's not uncommon." Michael felt a surge of frustration. "I just don't understand how people can be so ignorant and hateful." Ahmad placed a hand on Michael's shoulder. "It's okay, Michael. I know that not everyone is going to like me or agree with me, but as long as I know who I am and what I stand for, I can be proud of myself." Michael nodded slowly, still feeling a bit helpless. But then he remembered something that Ahmad had told him earlier, that empathy and understanding were key values in Islam. "Hey, do you think we could do something to show these protesters that they're wrong?" he asked Ahmad. Ahmad looked at Michael, a small smile on his face. "I think that's a great idea." What do you have in mind? Together, they brainstormed a plan to counter the protesters with a peaceful demonstration of their own. They talked to other students and faculty members who were supportive of their cause, and soon they had organized a rally to promote unity and understanding. As Michael and Ahmad stood at the front of the rally, holding signs with messages of love and acceptance, Michael felt a sense of pride and purpose that he had never experienced before. He knew that he was standing up for what was right, and he knew that he was doing it with his friend by his side. As the rally came to an end, Michael and Ahmad hugged each other, both feeling emotional and grateful for the experience they had shared. "Thank you for showing me what it means to be a good person, Ahmad," Michael said, tears welling up in his eyes. Ahmad smiled. "Thank you for being my friend, Michael. It means more than you know." As they walked away from the rally, Michael felt a sense of clarity and purpose that he had never felt before. He knew that there was still so much work to be done to create a more peaceful and just world, but he also knew that he had a friend by his side who would always be there to support him. And for that, he was truly grateful.